Let's take a look at some more problems that you may do if you're in fourth grade, third grade, maybe fifth grade. Some problems you may do that may help you out. Let's see if we can figure this out right here. So it says, which expression below is the same as 1435 divided by 7? So what's the same? Which one of these expressions is the same as that? Well, one of the things we can do is we can kind of break this out, right? So we know 1400 divided by 7. Let's look at that. If I have 1400, I'm going to put this over here and I want to go ahead and divide that by 7. Pull that out right here. Divide that by 7. Well, what would that look like? Well, I know that 7 goes into 14 two times. All right, let's go ahead and do long division here. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to go with my 14 right here. I'm going to go ahead and subtract this. And when I subtract this, I'm going to end up with 0, right? So 14 minus 14 is 0. Then all I have to do now here is bring down my 0. And this is going to be kind of easy from here. I'm going to have 14 goes into 0 0 times. 7 times 0 is equal to 0. Even if we go over here, we're going to bring down this 0 right here. And we're going to essentially have 7 going into 0 0 times. So 7 goes into 1400 200 times, right? So it goes into 1400 200 times. Well, how many times does 7 go into 35? We can do that real quick right here too. We can say, let's say we have 35 here, and we're going to divide 7. We're going to divide 7 into 35. Well, it's kind of easy because we know that 7 times 5 is 35. So 7 goes into 35 5 times. It goes into 35 5 times, and there's going to be no remainder from that. So that's going to be no remainder. When we subtract here, we're going to have 0 as a remainder. So our answer becomes, so 1400 divided by 7 is 200, plus 35 divided by 7 is 5. So that's 205. So that tells us that the answer right there is 205, that this is the right answer, because we have 1400 divided by 7, which is 200, plus 35 divided by 7, which is 5. We wouldn't get the second problem right here where it's multiplication, because that would be way too much. That would be 200 times 5, which would be like 1,000, or more, it would be like 1,000. So that would be the wrong answer. So the right answer is this right here. 1435 divided by 7 is equal to 205. It's the same as 1400 divided by 7 plus 35 divided by 7. That's the answer for that. So let's go down here and look at this next problem. So this next problem says, which expression is equal to 8 over 12? And this is kind of the same as 8 divided by 12. This is a fraction, 8/12. Which expression is equal to that? Well, when we add, subtract fractions, we know that we want to have like denominators, right? So that's the first thing I'm going to look for when I see a problem like this, and I want to know what's equal to that. If I look right here and I see that these fractions, these denominators are not the same, then I know this is not quite the same problem, if you will. This is not going to add up to be the same value as 8 over 12. But when I look right here, I see 12 is on the bottom. It's on the denominators for both of these fractions here. And then all I need to do is add the numerators. When the denominators are the same, you just add the numerators. And that's going to be equal to 8 divided by, or 8 over 12, 8/12. So this right here is actually the same. 4/12 plus 4/12 is the same as 8 over 12. That's the answer for this one. That's how that works out. That's what that equals. So let's go on. Let's look at another problem here. Let's look at something else. Let's see if we can figure out this right here. So let's say right here we're going to figure this out. Let's say a lady has a rectangular board, and the board has a length of 50 inches. So one of the sides is 50 inches, and a perimeter, which we know is all the way around the board, of 120 inches. Which expression below represents the area of this rectangular board? So we got to figure this out. So a couple things we know is that when we have our area, right? When we look at area, we know the area is equal to length times width. I already know that, right? I'll put this right here. My area is going to be equal to length times the width. That's going to be the area. And there's a couple things they already told us about this board. They told me that the board is 50 inches long, right? So I know that one side is 50 inches. But it also told me that around the whole perimeter, if I add up all the sides, it's going to be equal to 120. So I already have information right here. I can figure this out. I already have information to figure out. That's what it's going to be all the way around. The outside is 120. Well, I know one side is 50 because it's 50 inches long. And since it's a rectangle, that means this side must also be 50 inches long. The top also has to be 50 because it's a rectangle, and that those two sides are going to be the same. So now that I know that this side is the same as that side, this is 50 and this is 50, that equals 100. That means I only have 20 more inches to go. I only have 20 more inches. And these two sides have to be the same amount because this is a rectangle. So if I only have 20 more inches to go around, that means this side is 10 and the other side is 10. And if you were to add this up, you would see that this has a perimeter of 120. If you add this all up, this is a perimeter. 100 plus 50 plus 50 is 100, and 10 plus 10 is 20. This is a perimeter of 120. So now I know that area equals length times width. All I have to do is take one length times one width, and that's going to be equal to the area. And so therefore, A is the correct answer, because A, 50 times 10 is going to be equal to the area of this rectangular board. That's the answer to this problem. So let's go and look at this. Let's look at this last problem here for the section that we're going to do. Let's look at this problem. So it says, which one of these below is true? Which one is true? So this is getting you to know your decimals and the values of your decimals, right? So let's say we have A and we have 0.3 is greater than 0.7. So what is this really true? So I think this is 3/10 and this is 7/10, right? It's almost like thinking about this like it's money. Imagine this being 30 cents, 3 tens, 3 dimes, and this being 7 dimes. Is 30 cents greater than 70 cents? No. That's not true. So that answer is not true. Let's look at this one. Let's say we have 2/10. Is that equal to 2/100? This is just like saying, is 20 cents equal to 2 cents? So when we get this right here, this is like 2 pennies and this is like 2 dimes. Is 2 dimes equal to 2 pennies? Well, no. Those 2 dimes are not equal to 2 pennies. So that's going to be, that's X right there. What about this last one? This is like saying 5 cents. This is 5/100, right? 5 cents, 5 pennies. Is that less than 12 cents? 1 dime and 2 pennies. Well, yes, that is true. That answer is correct. So this is something you think about as you start to practice and do more word problems and problems with math.